Hi, this is Peter Sage, creator of the Millionaire Business School, and on this video I want to share with you something that I'm certainly passionate about, and that's some tips, tricks and advice on how you can become a world-class public speaker. Now, two reasons I want to share this information with you is because one, most people are scared to death of being able to speak in public. So being able to have that as a skill can really transfer into other areas of your life as well. If you can get over one of your biggest fears of speaking in public, then what else can you do? So, let's get this handled right now. The second thing or the reason I want to share this, apart from the fact I'm passionate about it, is because it's a real skill set that you can apply not just on stage, but to many different areas of your life. What we're really talking about is the ability to communicate and influence. But there's many ways to be able to do it that I don't see many people teaching. For example, in the next few minutes, my promise to you is that you'll learn more about being a better public speaker than going to 6 months at Toastmasters. Now, that's nothing against Toastmasters. They're a great organization, even though I've never been. I know quite a lot about them because many of my colleagues in the industry do a lot with Toastmasters. And Toastmasters are very good at being able to provide structure. They're very good at being able to provide a framework for people that are looking for certainty on how to get in there, and be able to present publicly with a framework that allows them to do so. But there's certain things that I want to share with you right now that you'll never learn at Toastmasters. Why am I qualified to be able to share this with you? Well, I've been a professional speaker for the last decade and a half. I've had the privilege of being able to share the stage with some of the biggest, most memorable names in the world, and I've keynoted and given presentations and talks to audiences of up to 10,000 people. My journey on that has never been smooth. It was really, in the beginning days, was very, very tough. And so really what I want to do is share with you a lot of the lessons I got from that as well. But where I am right now, I can command tens of thousands of dollars for 1 hour on stage. And I don't say that to impress you. I don't need the ego stroke. I just want to share that with you because this is a skill set that you don't have to go to college for 4 years to learn. This is a skill set that if you make it your mission to be able to apply and go out and share your story, you can create abundance for yourself in many different areas. So that's really just why I want to share that with you. So let's pick some of the key points that I want to highlight here. The first thing that I want to share with you is in terms of subject matter. Pick something you know. Now that may sound fairly obvious, but you'll see a lot of people that have a surface level of knowledge about something that they want to get up and give a talk on, and they're really fluffing themselves, they're really bluffing their way through what it is. And if you stress test it or drill down, it's quite obvious that they'll either avoid questions from the audience that are asking deeper levels of detail, or they're just stick with their certain points and don't elaborate. They can't ad-lib, or if their PowerPoint fails, they're in trouble, for example. So pick something you know. That way at least you're going to have more certainty and be more comfortable. If you know your subject matter, you don't need to read notes. Second thing is I'll say pick something you're passionate about. People listen to the music, not the words. If you doubt that, then there's probably a song that you know that you enjoy listening to, but if I ask you to tell me what the lyrics are, you'd look at me blank. People listen to the music, not the words. So if you're passionate about something, people will feel that. And your enthusiasm will come out. You'll get involved in being able to tell your story, and that alone will have far more of an impact than making sure that you go through the checklist of bullet points in order and sequence. It's night and day. The other thing I tell you is get good at being able to listen. Now that may sound strange for a lesson on how to be a world-class public speaker, but listening itself is a key skill. Most people have no clue how to listen, but they're experts in waiting to talk. If you have the ability to listen when the audience are engaging with you, listen to other speakers, and have that sense of being able to dial in, it'll give you a sense of presence and poise that other people will pick up on. But let's get to the real meat and potatoes. Here's a couple of things that I really want to share with you that'll make a profound difference. And one of them is focusing on your extro. Now, what is an extro? Well, everybody knows what an intro is, and most public speakers or people that are presenting focus way too much on their intro. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. Clap, clap, clap. And the first thing they're thinking about is, how do I open? What do I say next? If I can just get the beginning bit right, then hopefully it'll flow. And most people spend a lot of time on their intro, but very few people focus on the extra. And the extra to me is far more important. Why? I'll give you a first date analogy. If you've ever been out on a first date, which I'm sure you have, then have you noticed that it's far better to be able to mend a bad start than it is to ruin a great one? And the reason for that is very simple. Same with the first date and the same with speaking to an audience of 1 or 10,000 people. And that is, the mood you leave them in is the mood that counts. That's it. It's far better to mend a bad start than it is to ruin a great one. And your extra is your killer piece of information here. Now, extras can be made up many different ways. Personally, I like to finish on 3 points, and they kind of build to a crescendo. And it could be on almost any subject. Let's pick one, dog walking as a random example. You've just given a talk on dog walking because you're knowledgeable and passionate about it. But where do you finish? Because without an extra, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but without an extra, people kind of have done a fantastic talk, they've engaged the audience, they've passionately shared what it is they want, and then they're kind of finished and they just stop. And there's kind of a uncomfortable pause. Do we clap? Is it finished? Is it? Or they just say, thank you. And there's no real elegance to being able to close. Whereas with an extra, you can turn around and say things like, really enjoyed sharing that with you, so please remember, when you're walking your dogs, not only does it give a relationship or build a relationship with your dogs, not only does it promote a level of vitality for them, but they'll always be your best friend. So you get the idea. So it's 1, 2, and bang, 3. You finish on crescendo. Or you're giving a talk on, I don't know, pick another example, leadership, and you're talking about leadership, and it's like, when in command, take charge. Always do what's right, and remember that the world needs better leaders. Something like that. It could be simple, but you're finishing on 3 different points. You're building to a crescendo, and at that point, the audience know that you've finished your talk. Okay, let's get into a little bit of the psychology here. So, what is the difference between being a world-class speaker and somebody that can just manage themselves on stage? Well, I'll share this with you because very few people talk about this. I tend to categorize speakers in 2 different halves, if you like. The first half, which I was very much in the camp of in my early days, is people who get on stage and their default processing is, how do I get the audience to like me? Now, when you understand things like, the primary fear, or the fear that we're not enough, or the fear that we're being judged, or the fear that, we're not going to be supported by the good opinion of others, and all of that other stuff that so many people wallow in, it's no wonder that the first, primary mindset, or meta filter as we call it in brain science, is, how do I get the audience to like me? Now, the problem with that is, if you're coming from that perspective, then you will always be filtering through your head. Everything that's coming out here will first go through a filter. Is this likely to get a level of approval or not? And the challenge with that is it disconnects you from the one place that you're really trying to connect to, which is not here, it's here. And if you can connect to an audience at that level, it's put you in a different game. How do you do that? Very simple. Stop making it about you. Stop caring about whether you get 9 out of 10 on the feedback form or not. You see, if you're getting out there worrying about what they're thinking of you, then you're already dead in the water. You may give a technically correct presentation, but there's no emotion to it. Instead, if you can come from a place of saying, I don't care if the audience know my name. I'm here to add value. I'm here to share my gift with these people in the hope that maybe one person can live a better life because of what he or she hears. Now, you come from that place, and you step into a place where you can be willing to be unpopular for what you stand up to believe in to be a message that can empower people. And when you can come from that place, you enter a whole different category of speaker. And then we get to the point where you can move people emotionally to take action. That is my definition of world class. You say when Cicero used to speak in Roman times, people listened, and he always got a round of applause, sometimes a standing ovation. But when Marcus Aurelius spoke, people marched. That is the difference between being entertaining, being good, being professional, being technically perfect, and being able to move people emotionally. Also share stories. If you want to really enroll people, one of the #1 things you can do as a speaker is to get good at telling stories. And I'll share one with you just to demonstrate my previous points. And that is when I was first learning in this business, I say many years ago, a decade and a half ago now, I was invited down to a group that I was part of in England called the Yes Group in London. And there was a speaker there, and I won't give the name out of professional courtesy, but the resume of this speaker was impressive to say the least. They were, world public speaking champion, runner-up, silver medalist. They were Toastmasters, Grandmaster Extraordinaire, or whatever it was at the time. I just remember thinking, wow, this person is world class. And so I wanted to learn. I'm new in the speaking game. I wanted to go down. I took a 200-mile round trip, and I got there and I sat on the front row. I got my notepad. I was looking up and I was ready. I was eager. I got anticipation, and I was so excited. And they came out and they introduced this speaker, ladies and gentlemen, and this speaker came out and it was a keynote address for 45 minutes. And I have to say, it was absolutely, technically brilliant. If they were giving a thesis on public speaking, they would have scored A+ distinction, PhD off the charts. They finished at 45 minutes dead 0 seconds. Their use of visual aids versus language patterns, the use of spatial anchoring, the use of the pause, humor versus engagement. All of these different things were fabulous. However, could I remember a damn thing they said 7 days later? Not really. In other words, it was entertaining, it was engaging, but it didn't move me emotionally to take action or change any part of my life. If you want to be a world-class public speaker, you don't want to motivate people or entertain people. You want to inspire them. And you can only inspire somebody if you're feeling inspired. If this is something that you know that you're passionate about, that you're not into your own head about, worrying about what other people think, that if you're willing to be unpopular because you're there to serve, not care about getting feedback form to feed your own ego. And if you can do it at that level, then boom, you have a skill set that is so far ahead of the average person on stage that it's just not even funny. So, how do you take this and apply it and make it real? Well, as I said, it's not just about getting on stage. It's about being able to have better impact with your kids. It's about being able to influence the people around you so that if your best friend's feeling down, you can engage them and try and bring them up. It's about making it real and applying it in everyday life, not just the time where you get called under the lights. Okay, so in summary, being a world-class public speaker is not difficult. It's just making the time to make some key distinctions and apply certain skill sets. And if you do that, not only will you have the confidence to be able to go out and conquer your fears, not only will you be able to start influencing people at a much higher level, but you'll also be able to make the world a better place with your message. See you on the next video. Hey, it's Peter. I'm back again. Just wanted to say thank you for watching. Although remember, knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing. So it's about applying what you learn in order to make a real difference. Now, if you'd like to continue your journey of being an even better you, please subscribe to my channel as I upload new videos each and every week, and I would love you to be the first person to see them. Also, please remember to click like and leave a comment. I do respond personally. But more importantly, if you could think of one person you want to share this with, you think it'll make a difference for, then go ahead and do that now. And let's together see if we can make the world a little bit better today than it was yesterday.